In this tutorial we're going to look at creating a kitchen. So to save a bit of time we're going to import a DWG, which is basically the kitchen design and outline. So if we go to File, Import, we're going to go to the Training Notes 1 folder, then go to DWG, and we will supply you with this file, and go to the kitchen.dwg and select import, and it will give you a few results. Before you import it though, if you haven't checked this for the first time, or if you are checking this for the first time, just look at the options before importing. Make sure you merge component faces, orient faces consistently, and use the millimeter units before importing. Okay, so it's just an outline that we can use as a reference. So if it didn't come in as a component, when I right click it shows edit component. If it's not a component, just select it and right click and make it either a group or a component, just so that the lines inside of the model are contained. We don't want to draw and the lines get connected with the lines that we have drawn. So to create the walls, there's a pretty nice way we could do this. I'm just going to go into a 3D view just to quickly be able to look at it a little bit better. Okay, so let's go and get the line tool, and I'm going to draw a line vertically and type in 2400, enter. Go to the left and we'll type in 90 and enter. Come back down until it hits the plan and then across. So we get basically the end of the wall profile. So what we're going to do next is we're going to draw or put this into a group straight away. So with the select tool, double click on it, right click, make group. Then with the select tool again, double click on the group so that we're editing it, and we want to be able to see the lines behind it, so make sure your H key is off, or sorry, on, so that you can see everything. Okay, so next we need to click on the line tool. We're going to start from this corner here, and we're going to trace over top of the floor plan. And make sure when you draw that you're drawing on axis. So you might want to use your arrows to lock it in the left, the green and red axis. So this one here we can't use an axis or a button. So then left arrow to the end point, right arrow for red to the end there. Okay, spacebar to escape drawing from the line, and then press H on your keyboard so that you see just the lines. So it's just the shape that we're following. So if we get the select tool, we can drag from right to left just over the lines, and holding control I can pick up that extra line that I missed. So the path is selected. I can then click on the follow me tool and then click on the profile or the wall, and it's now just going to sweep that around and along the path that we designed. So next what we need to do is we need to create a door opening. So we can get the rectangle tool. Anywhere on this wall I'm just going to draw a rectangle, which is let's see, so it's the short side by the long side, so we'll go 8, 10, 2 meters, enter. I'm going to press H on my keyboard so I can see the model or the reference. Get the select tool, click on the surface that I want to move along the wall, get the move tool, click on the endpoint, and then I can press X on my keyboard, or I can go up to here and click on the X-ray mode, and then I can reference, while going along that wall I can use the left arrow while I'm moving, and I can then reference the door. So you can see that door opening is now in line with the door. So with the push pull tool I can just push pull that surface back until it touches the on face or the back face, click, and that will then create a hole. Okay, so I've just now inserted my door. So now what I can do is close the group because I don't need to do much more work to that. The other thing you could do though is you could get the rectangle tool, for example. You could draw over this maybe to halfway, push-pull tool and push-pull it up until it hits the underside of the door opening. So it looks like the cavity slider or the sliding door is going into the wall, which can give it quite a cool effect. So then I could triple click on that, right click and make that a group with the select tool. Alright, and if I want to add a little bit more detail to this door opening, I could double click on the group, select these three faces, get the offset tool, offset that outwards and type in 50 and enter. Then with the push-pull tool I could just bring that out 10 millimeters. Okay, so that's quite a quick way to add finer detail. Like the wall follow me, we could have created a profile that included like a skirting and included like a coving as well. So we could do that. We could go here and draw a line down 75, enter. That will break the line, come out 75, enter, upwards 75, enter, like so. Select tool, double click on the surface, right click and make that a group. Then double click on the group and you could select these two lines. Get the offset tool, bring them down and type in 10. Then I could get the arc, 2-point arc tool, click on that and just pick here to here and then come back in. And be careful that you don't overshoot the line, you want it just within the 10 mil. Then we can erase that offset, so I just use that as a starting point for the arcs. Then I can erase that. And then within the same group I could get the line tool, draw a line upwards 50 for my skirting, come out 10 millimeters, then downwards 50 again, and create a little skirting profile. Then what I can do is I can close the group, so I've got just a big group, one with a skirting and coving. I can pre-select the path that I want it to follow. So I can go here and select the inside edges. Okay, then I could go to the follow me tool, zoom in, and while I'm still in the follow me tool I could right click on the group, edit the group, then click on the profile. And then you can see it followed the selected profile that was outside of the group, which is interesting. So let's do that one more time with the skirting. So I could select my path using the select tool and holding shift. So I've selected the path, then I click on the follow me tool. While I'm still in the follow me tool I can right click on the group and select edit group. Then I can click on the profile and it will just sweep along this pre-selected path. And I only did it to the door because I'm not sure exactly where or what the kitchen is going to be like yet. So you can see that's quite intricate detail, you know, it looking pretty good. So let's have a save. So go to the save button and I'm just going to call this kitchen design. Alright, so now we can start looking at the kitchen design. So I'm just going to draw the outline again, like I did with the walls. So all the groups are closed and I'm just literally tracing over top of the outline of the DWG. And I find that that's a better way of doing it because sometimes, depending on who drew the CAD plan, that not all the corners meet up very well. So this way you can ensure that when you draw it, you get a final surface or a finished surface that actually works. So I'm going to double click on my surface, hold control and double click on the other surface for the kitchen design, right click and make it a group. Okay, so I always group everything. Everything's just broken up into groups. That way if somebody asks you, could you please change this, it's easy to change later. So next I'm just going to select this plan, put it onto the kitchen layer that came with the DWG, and then we can turn the visibility of that off. because we've essentially taken from it what we needed. So if I now double click on the group, I'm going to get the line tool, and I'm just going to break this up into two pieces. Okay, so after drawing those two lines, we can pull up the cupboard here. So maybe that's 2 meters as well. Okay. Then we could pull this up, and maybe we'll make that 900, and then I could pull that to there, and then that to there. So I'm kind of working a little bit backwards. So we're working like the outlines of plans are usually the bench tops. So if we look underneath, we might just quickly draw the edges along there as well. Then we can pull that up 850 and double click on the other two. Oop. Okay, so then we can work from the top down moving forward. So I might make this island a group, because sometimes you might just want to create some views of the kitchen, but the island might be in the way, so you might then add a group, and add a layer and call it island. Select the tabletop and then move that to the island layer, and then we can turn the visibility of that off so we can come back later and play with that. So now I could select these two edges and I could offset and maybe bring that in 20 millimeters or 25. We could pull that down to the ground. Pull that up and then go 100, so you don't really need to think about what the differences were. You just take it down and then up 100 for the toe kick. Then we could get the select tool, select the line, get the move tool, press Control and click and bring that in 50, and then we can get the push pull tool again, pull that down until it hits the ground. So you could see what I was trying to achieve there. And then we can erase any excess lines that may be there. We can also come over to here and get the line tool, drag a line across there, and then pull that in 50 also for your toe kick. Alright, so then we're starting to add a bit of nice detail there. So unless you're rendering, you don't really need to show like negative details or actual 3D details, because we can define cabinetry with just lines. So I'm going to copy this in 18. Then what I can do is I can copy this, actually I might copy this line here 18 too, because it would be an end panel. So go 18. So once I've copied that line, I can press Control and copy that to the very end. And then I could say, okay, I want to divide that by 4. And if that looks okay, it looks a bit big, so maybe we'll go 5 /. And if we get the T for tape measure and measure across there, it's 430, that looks pretty good. So then one of these drawers, or one of these could be drawers, so maybe we make the bottom one a bit bigger, so we'll go maybe a 250 drawer. And then from there I could copy that, holding Control and the move tool up to there, and then I could go 3 divide. So you can easily just start dividing up your pantry, your cabinets and your drawers. Okay, so I've just given you the idea. I won't go through the whole entire kitchen. But at any time you could have made that carcass its own group, so that you could isolate it using layers and only detail that particular carcass. Over here we could then maybe do it this time, so we could go make group, and then you could work on that bench top alone, so that you don't accidentally get tangled up. So we'll get select tool and select these two lines, offset tool, and we can bring that in 25. Then I could pull that down to the ground again, get the select tool and select these two lines, offset and bring that in and type 50 also. push pull tool and bring that up 100. Then again you could design your cabinetry there. So that is, you select what the line you want to copy, get the move tool, press Control and copy it in 18. Do the same on the other end, select tool, move tool, then Control and copy it in 18, and then you can copy it to the end and you can tell it how many divisions you want, so maybe 4/enter, and then again we could make one of these drawers again. So this time you might just copy it the whole distance from the bottom to the top, and then maybe 5 divide. So you could leave it as simple as that, or you could then start to generate like drawer handles. So if we were to do a quick handle, we could go and get the rectangle tool, and we'll just draw that onto there, and we'll just say let's go 150 by 20. If you're not happy with that, you could go 150, 15, and it will just make it a little bit narrower. So you could leave it like simple handles, or you could make that a component. And we're going to glue it to any plane because we want it to like stick to the surfaces, and then create. And if you wanted to, you could add prices, you could add where to get the handle, the URL to that, and make sure you replace selection with component. So with the move tool, we're just going to get the midpoint of this and move it along the left hand direction. Press the right arrow to lock it in that direction, and then line it up below. Get the edge, click, up arrow, and then you can line that up with the side there. Okay, so then we can get the push pull tool. Sorry, we've got to get the select tool, double click on the component first, push pull, and just bring that out. And we'll bring that out 15 also, or maybe 20. And then we'll get the select tool and just select these top 3 edges. Get the offset tool and bring that in 5mm. Then we could push pull that downwards until it hits the bottom edge or end point, click, and that will then cut a hole. So then we can get the select tool and select that, and then use the midpoints to copy that down. And once you've done one copy with the move tool and Control, click, and then you could go 2x, enter, or sorry, I went 2 divide by accident, so 2x, enter, and not enough, 3x, enter. So you get the same distance and divisions going downward. If I want to copy that to the left hand side, I could select that, get the move tool. I could use the midpoint there, press Control, click, and it will automatically find the other face because it's glued to any face. So since this is a surface, oh actually it's not even a surface, it was in its own kind of like group, but it still found the face. So I want to put this handle in that group, so I can select it, edit, cut, edit the group, edit, paste in place. Then with the move tool, again I can copy from any point really to there, and then I could say, including that one, 4x, and enter. And then we're just going to copy that to the side like this. So move tool again, plus Control to the edge, and then maybe I come in that way 25 or 50. And I could copy that on the green axis, so left arrow until it hits the edge, and then come in 50. So once you've got those two, you could use this one that's still selected, get the move tool, and then use that endpoint there to copy to there. And see it now remembered the 50mm spacing at the top. Okay, and then over here, we could then do the same. I could select this one, get the move tool, copy it from this point here till it hits the line, come back 50, then from this point here copy till it hits the line, then 50 off there, and we've got 2 more to do, so we can get the select tool, holding shift, add both to the selection, move tool, and copy from here to here. Okay, so you can quickly start to create your kitchen. So that's probably enough of the modeling. So if we so you can carry on and do more on the cabinets and stuff, and probably the island, but we'll leave that off for now. Maybe we'll just for the tutorial's sake and to make it look good, we just add a bit of a kick on this here. So go offset tool, bring that in 50, and then we just get the line tool and just break that there, and erase that line. Be careful to not delete that one because your group and your line will disappear. And then you could pull that up 50 as well. Sorry, 100. And then we could just simply add a line in there like that. And we'll just borrow these two here. And since it didn't quite go onto the surface, maybe we do one at a time. So if I was to do that one, copy, no, it's broken the surface, or stick to any surface. So if I copy that one to there, I could get the rotate tool, up arrow to lock it in the blue plane, touch this point here, click, and then I can line it up with this end point here, click. Then I could copy that along that edge. See how it found the purple line? Then I can hold shift until it hits there, and then it's not quite remembering it, but I can then go along that line there and type 50. So if you want horizontal or vertical handles, you could do this. You could just get the move tool, hover on the group or component, and then you can rotate them upwards like that. So select the group or component, move tool, touch the little red handle and go up. And then of course you can use the move tool again to move that in closer. So maybe we move that in 90, select this one, move tool, use this edge down below, 90, and then we've got our handles. So yeah, our kitchen's looking pretty good. So the last things I want to do is just add a bit of color and complete the floor and ceiling. So with the line tool again, I could just draw a line along the bottom. And I'm just going to cut it across there. So once I've got that, I can double click and right click. So double click with the select tool on that, right click, make group. Then I can copy that group up to the top for the ceiling, so up to there. Then with the select tool I could double click on that and just give it a thickness of jib, maybe double jib, maybe 20 mil. And then double click on the bottom slab or group with the select tool, push pull tool, and push pull that down 100. So you can see we've now got our model developing quite nicely. Of course you could put some cabinetry above, but we'll try not to make this a really long tutorial. Lastly then, we'll just grab the materials dialog, drop down here and get some concrete, asphalt on concrete, and I'll just grab polished concrete. That looks good. Okay, so for the walls I might just go colors and just roughly, I can then grab ones that I like, and you can always change the color once you've put it on there. Then I might get the select tool, double click on the wall group, pick white and click on the coving, and you can see that that's looking good. Then I can do the front face of the surface and just do the edges of the door detail. That's looking good. Zoom extents, close the wall group, and then back to the materials paint bucket and just paint the rest of that. Then I can make that basically all white. Select tool, double click on that, then go to what could we use? Synthetic surfaces could be alright. Maybe a dark Formica top, and just paint that up. Ooh. Undo that, because this was a group, we need to edit the group and just make sure that you paint the individual surfaces. Okay, close that group and we'll just paint under there as well. Okay, so it's looking really nicely and really nice now. So if we wanted to create a few views, we could click on the little man here and then position him into the room. Then you can use the little eye to adjust your view. And then with the zoom tool here, if you hold shift, you can then drag that back, holding shift, and then it increases the field of view. So 45 is quite a good angle for interior views. And then I could right click and update the 3D view. If I went to the 2D view, I could then go to one of these elevations, the zoom extents. This one here is quite good. And you can see now we're getting an elevation of the kitchen. So if I just minimize materials, expand layers, untick the visibility of the layer island, then you can see we can generate an elevation from the kitchen as well. And I could just update that 2D view. So we now got a 3D view and a 2D view. And then you can send that off to layout. And you can refer to the coffee table tutorial on how to use layout.